Criminalisation of Botham John. Welcome to YAM News. The BBC reports that Dallas police have been accused of smear tactics after court documents revealed marijuana was found in a man's flat where he was shot dead by an off-duty police officer. Lawyers for the 26-year-old Botham John said police were trying to criminalise the victim. Officer Amber Geiger, who shot him, says she mistook his apartment for her own and thought he was an intruder. She's been charged with manslaughter and has been released on bail. A search was conducted at Mr. John's apartment after the deadly shooting. Court documents released on Thursday showed that the police had found a small amount of marijuana at the property, along with other items such as a lunchbox and laptop. Lawyer Lee Merritt, who represents the family of Botham John, said this showed investigators were trying to discredit the victim. They immediately began looking to smear him, he said. Civil rights groups and activists have been outraged by the news. Many were also angered by a tweet from a local outlet of the conservative-leaning Fox News. Several asked why the discovery of drugs was relevant to the case. So, unless you've been hiding under a rock, Botham John was a young black man who originally was from St. Lucia, who lived in Dallas and worked for PricewaterhouseCoopers, who was minding his business in his own house or his own apartment when Amber Geiger, an off-duty police officer, came to his apartment and shot him dead. Now let's hear what his mum has to say on the situation.
The information received yesterday is to me worse than the call that I got on the morning of Friday, September 7th. To have my son smeared in such a way, I think shows that there are persons who are really nasty, who are really dirty, and are going to cover up for the devil, Amber Geiger. I don't know my son to be involved in such. And I want to find out whether the toxicology reports on Amber has been released, because she was the murderer.
That's right.
I want to find out whether her apartment has been searched, whether her car has been searched, and also on the Saturday when we spoke to the Texas Ranger, he was saying that there was no reason in his mind that she ought to have been locked up.
That's right.
So there was enough time for 3 days that she roamed the streets after committing such a crime. So far, my family and I have only been asking for a fair hearing for my son. We have also been asking the community to engage in peaceful protest. But if information like that will come out to tarnish my son's reputation in his death, I will not sit back and see that justice does not prevail.
That's right.
It is time that we recognize that lives matter.
That's right.
My son's life matters.
That's right.
At 26 years old, he had done so much. So if you extrapolate what he could have done, had he reached my age, then you would have seen how much I have lost. So I'm calling on the Dallas officials, whether it be the DA's office, I don't know the Dallas system, but whoever it is, please come clean. Give me justice for my son, because he does not deserve what he got. Thank you.
I'm not going to say too much more. I believe Botham John's mother spoke from her heart. You can see the pain on her face, and my sympathy and my prayers will be with their family. I'm going to do something she did. She made a request, and I'm going to make a request. If you are a Christian and you watch this video, if you are a church leader, if you are a youth leader, if you have any authority in your church, I'm going to call on you to call out the spirit of white supremacy and to attack it in prayer. And I'm going to leave you with some words of a video that we made a few weeks ago called 3 Reasons Why Some Churches Do Not Tackle the Issues of Racism and White Supremacy. Stay close to Christ, folks. Number 3. Spirit of intimidation, cowardice, and false narratives. God hates racism, but by the complete lack of confrontation of the evil spirit behind it, by some churches you would never know. Some leaders think addressing issues of race will cause division. And they are right. The truth divides, and anyone afraid to speak the truth and confront issues of the time they live in are not following the path that Jesus took. Jesus was not afraid to answer any questions and never dodged issues that could potentially cause division. The truth will always divide. The devil does not want unity among Christians, and he knows that by reasoning together, we will realize that we are bound together by more things than divide us. We will not achieve anything by avoiding the issues that separate us on Sunday mornings, and buying into that narrative has come at the cost of Christian unity amongst ethnicities. Unfortunately, some people are just cowards and not willing to fight the dark forces of Satan. In all cases, we must pray that our leaders have the courage to be like Jesus and speak the truth in love, in season and out of season, whether the conditions be favorable or unfavorable. You see, my brothers and sisters, at the end of the day, race is not the problem. Sin is the problem. And no one is born racist. But people are taught racism. People are taught hatred. And people are taught to hate people for trivial things. And until we reason together and understand the history behind and the spirit behind this evil force of darkness which has tainted this world for hundreds of years, we will never come to any kind of reconciliation. And I don't understand how we believe we will worship separately down here, but when we get to heaven we'll all be together worshiping the same God. My brethren, my brothers and sisters, it is not so. If you carry and harbor hatred towards your fellow brother and sister who bleeds blood like you, who Jesus Christ died for you and for them and for us, if you hate your fellow man, you are a liar and you are a murderer, and the Spirit of God is not in you. The Bible says we must love our neighbor as ourselves, and that is not according to skin tone. We must love humanity. And so by you churches avoiding this serious issue, you're literally avoiding a sin. You're avoiding talking about sin. You're avoiding convicting the hearts of men and women who have hatred in their hearts for their fellow brothers and sisters on every side of the spectrum, regardless of skin tone. If you harbor hatred, you're going to hell. And so if there's any leaders and preachers and pastors listening to this, I implore you, stop avoiding this issue, because this generation will not allow you to get away with keeping silent. Speak up and speak the truth in love. Stay close to Christ.